Hi once again, and welcome back to On the Move, where we go behind the scenes of some of Forsyth County's larger construction projects. We're back at 369 and 400, exit 18 just behind us here. John Jefferson is Director of Capital Projects, kind enough to join us once again. John, we haven't heard from you in a while. I know you've been a very busy guy, so let's talk about what's happening here at exit 18. Are we on schedule? That's the big question everybody wants to know. Are we on schedule to meet where we said we would be earlier this year in February at the town hall? We said we're looking at opening all 4 lanes of traffic in late this year, early next year. Where are we at?
We're still on schedule to meet that commitment.
Excellent. Great news there. So again, we're on schedule to be opening all 4 lanes of traffic coming up later this year, early next. If you want more details about what we talked about in February at that town hall, if you missed it, by the way, a lot of great information about this project. If you're just now catching up, at forsythco.com/exit18. Again, forsythco.com/exit18. All right, John, a lot of action happening here this week and next week at the bridge at exit 18. What's going on?
Right. So the bridge went through a redesign process. The contractor's design engineer finished that, submitted it to us for review, GDOT for review. There were comments. We sent it back to the engineer for some minor revisions. We had got it resubmitted. There were some additional conversations to address any open issues. That went back to the contractor's design engineer. That's been released for construction. After that happens, there are multiple submittals. For example, the revised beam shop drawings, those have been submitted, reviewed, and approved and released for the contractor to fabricate those. There's some bridge deck pan submittals that have been approved, some beam bearing pads that have been submitted and approved. So all that's been going on in the background. I know people get frustrated when they drive through here and they don't see a crane or anything going on. They think, well, nothing's going on, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. So some action happening here at the bridge. If you see some of that action going on, again, that is a part of the plan. Essentially, the plan is still underway, and it is still on track to meet us at the end of this year, early next. Any traffic impacts from this here in the near term?
Not in the near term, no. The contractor should be remobilizing a crane back to the site the end of this week, early next week, so they can begin work. And they'll be working off of any open traffic lanes.
All right, good to know. Settlement issues. That was something we talked a lot about. I feel like you and I have said settlement so many different times over the last couple of years. Are there currently any settlement issues here at the bridge or any other safety concerns whatsoever?
No.
Fair enough. And again, if you want more detail on that, visit forsythco.com/exit18 from that town hall we had earlier this year. What steps are ahead now moving forward, looking ahead even just beyond this week and next week with the work continuing here? What are the steps that they're going to need to occur to get us to that 4 lanes being open here on time end of this year?
Right. So when the contractor remobilizes the crane, they're going to get back on the piles. GDOT has asked us to reset the piles, if you will, so there'll be some pile driving, there'll be some noise. There's 7 piles. They'll probably be able to do that in maybe a week. Then they can start forming and repouring the cap. It's a pile cap. It sits on top of those 7 piles. That has to be cast before the beams can be set. As I said, the shop drawings have been released to the contractor, so those beams can be fabricated. They're fabricated at a facility off-site, and they'll be trucked here. GDOT has inspectors there. And then once the beams arrive, there will be some lane closures to set those beams as happened the first time around.
Certainly makes sense. For somebody that might be new to this project, maybe new to the county, maybe they just drove through this for the first time, they're hearing about this, maybe hearing some misinformation about this. It's going to be hard to recap this here, so bear with me. We talked for about 2 or 3 hours at the town hall in February about this, but if you could give a slight recap of exactly what occurred here, why the tear down of that section of the bridge needed to occur, what would that be? What would that recap be for why that occurred?
Sure. So the fill placed for the west approach ramp in some areas is 50 to 55 feet thick. So that's several thousand pounds per square foot. It's built on some alluvial material. When that fill was placed, there was a fair amount of settlement that occurred, which eventually resulted into some, I'm going to characterize it as pulling the west end bent to the west. That caused some cracking in the cap, which we looked at, we monitored, we worked with GDOT, and decided, look, this is going to cause some long-term maintenance issues and repair issues. So we need to stop the train, get the design revised, get it rebuilt so it'll last its 50 to 75 year expected lifespan.
All right, there it is. Again, more information if you want to hear more about that, go back and watch that town hall from February, forsythco.com/exit 18. All right, rest of 369. Project seems to be humming along. We're getting close now to full widening of 369, which is a huge achievement for the county and for GDOT. Where are we at on that outside of the bridge here at 369?
So we're down to a handful of punch list items that need to be, GDOT calls it corrective work items. Most people understand that as punch list items. So most of that's done. We've got a handful of things that we're trying to get resolved. Obviously, traffic is open and flowing. Yep. So we're getting really close.
Yeah, and if you ever drove through this intersection before the overpass was here several years ago,
right,
you know that it's a completely different ball game here with traffic flowing. Yes, we don't have the 4 lanes over the bridge open yet. That will be coming end of this year, early next year. However, as you can see behind us, traffic flowing both on 400 and 369 very well. And then, John, before we let you go, not far from us, just a stone's throw away, a couple lights down here on 369, Coal Mountain Connector. That's been a project that a lot of people have been curious about as well. What's the latest there?
Yeah, so we're very close. We've got some corrective work punch list items that's been prepared. It's given to the contractor, and we're waiting on them to complete those corrective work items. Once that's done, they can stripe the road and we can open it to traffic. So we're close.
All right. Well, John, we're going to be catching up with you real soon. Next time, we're going to be down in the southern end of the county, talking about what's going on in McGinnis Ferry. A lot of excitement down there as that road construction is beginning with a great widening project there in the southern end of the county and a few other things going on here in the county as well. We're excited to talk a lot more with you. Thanks so much for your time here today.
Sure, you're welcome.
Well, thanks a bunch for watching On the Move. We appreciate your time. Again, if you want more information about this project here in North Forsyth at 369 and 400 exit 18, you can visit forsythco.com/exit 18 for some graphics, a history timeline, video from that town hall we had back in February, and of course our On the Move video updates as well. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time on the Move as we go behind the scenes on what's happening in your county here in Forsyth. So long for now.